Hey there. From the moment of conception until birth, incredible changes take place. After an egg is fertilized by a sperm, it begins dividing and becomes a ball of cells. At 4 weeks, it's the size of a sesame seed. At 8 weeks, it's the size of a kidney bean. And at 38 weeks, it's the size of a fully grown baby. At this point, they have the ability to respond to touch with movements, such as kicking, punching, and sucking on their thumb. As the pregnancy progresses, the sensitivity to touch will increase. They can do this because their taste buds develop while they're still in the womb. In fact, babies are born with the ability to recognize the flavors of sweet, sour, salty, and bitter foods. Babies are able to recognize their mother's voice before they're born. In fact, they prefer their mother's voice over the voices of other women. How do we know this? Well, researchers have studied babies' reactions to different sounds while they're still in the womb. From the very first moments of conception, a tiny cell begins to divide and grow into a fully formed human being. And as the pregnancy progresses, the baby's brain and other organs develop and prepare for life outside the womb. It's a truly remarkable journey. They found that babies were more likely to kick and move around when they heard their mother's voice. This suggests that babies not only recognize their mother's voice, but they also enjoy hearing it. So, if you're pregnant, be sure to talk to your baby often. They'll love it. Some research suggests that babies who are exposed to a variety of flavors in the womb are more likely to enjoy eating them after birth. So if you're pregnant and craving something sweet, go ahead and indulge. Your baby might just thank you later. By 30 weeks, babies can feel pain. However, they won't cry because their pain receptors don't connect to the brain until later on. Can a baby dream in the womb? The answer is yes. In fact, babies can dream just like adults. How do we know this? Well, researchers have studied babies who were born prematurely and found that they had the same brain activity as dreaming adults. Touch is an important part of fetal development, and belly rubs can help stimulate the growth of the baby's brain. In fact, studies have shown that babies born to mothers who receive regular belly massages have larger brains than babies born to mothers who do not receive massages. Belly rubs can also help prepare the baby for life outside the womb. Touch is an important way for babies to interact with the world around them. So the more touch they get, the better. If you're pregnant, ask your partner, family members, and friends to join in on the belly rub action. Your baby will thank you for it. What's more, babies have been recorded making little noises while dreaming, which is similar to what happens in adults. So, if you are wondering whether your unborn baby is dreaming of being a famous actor or an astronaut, the answer could be yes. Find out about the amazing transformations that happen inside the womb each week through fun facts, conception to birth. How does a single cell become a baby? The brain is one of the first organs to start developing after fertilization. At 5 weeks, the neural tube forms, which eventually develops into the brain and spinal cord. For example, high levels of testosterone in the mother during pregnancy have been linked to an increased risk of behavioral problems in boys. On the other hand, girls exposed to higher levels of testosterone in the womb are more likely to be born with a low birth weight. At 26 weeks, the brain starts sending signals to the body, like kicking and punching. At 30 weeks, the brain is fully developed, but it's still growing and getting bigger. At 36 weeks, the brain is preparing for life outside the womb by making new connections between neurons. When can baby hear? It might surprise you to learn that babies can hear sounds from inside the womb as early as 16 weeks. At this point, their hearing is fairly well developed, and they are able to distinguish between different sounds, including their mother's voice. By 26 weeks, babies can hear sounds from the outside world, too, thanks to the fact that their ears are now fully developed. They may even be able to hear their own heartbeat, which can sound like a whooshing noise. When can baby feel? Not only can baby hear, but they can also feel sensations from inside the womb as early as 10 weeks. Did you know that certain hormones produced by the mother can affect the development of the baby's personality? Speaking of little ones, did you know that babies can actually taste what mom eats? That's right. Now let's move on to our next fun fact. How does your baby react to your voice before birth? Why belly rubs matter? It's amazing to think about all the incredible things that happen inside the womb before a baby is born. Now it's time to test your knowledge. This is an incredible time for your baby. There's so much happening during the first year of life, and this video will look at some of the most amazing developments that occur during those first few months after birth. The human brain is the most complex organ in the body, and it continues to develop throughout our entire lives. However, there is no time in our lives where the brain grows faster than during our first 2 years here on Earth. This is important because it allows you to bond with your caregivers and feel safe in your environment. When babies crawl, they reusing their muscles to propel themselves forward, and their brains are making connections that help them understand how their body moves through space. Language is one of the most important skills babies need to develop in their first year of life. From the brain doubling in size to the start of language development, the first year is a time of incredible growth and change. As you watch your baby grow and develop, remember to cherish every moment. The first year goes by faster than you think. And speaking of the first year, if you haven't already, check out the previous video on what happens in the first month. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. In fact, babies start learning language long before they are able to speak their first words. Babies are born with the ability to produce all of the sounds needed for human language. As they are exposed to different languages, they will start to develop the skills they need to communicate. Babies will start to babble and make other vocalizations that are the building blocks of speech. They will also start to understand the meaning of words and simple phrases. By the end of the first year, your baby should be able to say their first few words and understand many more. There are several things you can do to help your baby develop language skills. Talk to your baby often and sing songs. Read books together and name objects in the room. Respond to your baby's vocalizations and babbling. And don't worry about correcting your baby's pronunciation. They will learn to speak properly with time. One of the most important things you can do for your baby's language development is to talk to them from the first day they are born. Babies who are talked to more often develop better language skills. You don't have to use fancy words or have a conversation. Just talk to your baby about what you're doing. Sing songs and read books. This will help your baby develop the skills they need to understand and produce language. Crawling also stimulates the development of other important skills, such as hand-eye coordination and babies who crawl are better able to judge distances, explore their surroundings, and develop the fine motor skills they need to perform tasks later in childhood. Studies have shown that babies who crawl are better able to solve problems, think creatively, and develop important cognitive skills. Crawling helps babies develop the neural connections they need to function properly. When babies crawl, they are stimulating the growth of neurons and strengthening the connections between them. This is important because the connections between neurons are the basis of all human thought, movement, and behavior. There are many benefits to crawling, both physical and cognitive. Crawling helps babies develop strong, healthy muscles. It also helps them develop hand-eye coordination and depth perception. In addition, crawling helps babies learn to explore and problem solve. For example, when babies crawl, they have to figure out how to move around obstacles and how to get from one place to another. This helps them develop important cognitive skills that they will use later in childhood and adulthood. If your baby is having trouble crawling, there are some things you can do to help them. First, make sure your baby is physically ready to crawl. Most babies are ready to crawl around 6 or 7 months old. Second, provide your baby with plenty of opportunities to practice crawling. You can do this by putting toys just out of reach, making tunnels or obstacle courses, or simply letting your baby crawl around on the floor. Finally, be patient. Every baby is different and will crawl at their own pace. Babies will start to recognize their caregivers' faces within the first few months of life. And this recognition will only grow stronger with time. By the end of the first year, your baby should be able to recognize familiar faces, respond to their name, and show different reactions to different people. They may even start to develop a favorite face that they like to look at the most. Babies can also recognize their own faces after a few weeks of being born. At first, they may not know that the face in the mirror is themselves, but they will start to figure it out soon enough. As your baby starts to develop object permanence, which is the understanding that objects continue to exist even when they can't be seen, they'll start to realize that the face in the mirror is always the same face that they see when they turn around. This is a big milestone because it shows that your baby is developing the cognitive skills they need to understand the world around them. In fact, the brain will double in size from the time you are born until your second birthday, and around 80% of the brain is made up of water. This means that if you weigh 6 pounds at birth, by your second birthday, you could weigh 12 pounds, all from brain growth. This is also why it's so important to stay hydrated, because if your body doesn't have enough water, your brain won't be able to grow to its full potential. Your baby will go from helpless newborn to responsive infant to active toddler over the course of your baby's first year. A lot of this has to do with the massive amount of new brain cells that are generated every single day, as well as the trillions of connections that are made between these new brain cells. These new cells and connections allow your baby to become more responsive to their environment, learn new skills, and eventually start interacting with their world. We'll be looking specifically at what happens between the ages of 0 and 12 months. In fact, we're going to cover 5 milestones that happen during this time. But before we get started, I just want to mention that if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button because it really helps out my channel. So let's begin. Number 1. The brain doubles in size. Number 2. Attachment and bonding. Babies are born with the innate ability to form an attachment to their primary caregivers. This is a crucial milestone because it sets the foundation for future relationships. Babies who are securely attached to their caregivers are more likely to have positive relationships later in life. Now, this attachment usually starts during pregnancy when the mother is still carrying her child. As the baby grows inside the womb, the mother's voice becomes one of the first and most important sources of stimulation. Once your baby is born, skin-to-skin contact is one of the best ways to promote bonding. It's a chance for you and your baby to get to know each other, and for your baby to learn about the world outside the womb. During this time, your baby will also start to develop social skills. They'll start to respond to smiles and faces, and will begin to make their own social gestures. By the end of the first year, your baby should be able to follow people with their eyes, turn toward sounds, respond to their name, play peekaboo, and imitate your facial expressions. All of these activities help your baby develop the social skills they need to interact with others. Number 3. Learning to recognize faces and voices. From the time you are born, you have the innate ability to recognize faces and voices. Number 4. Crawling equals brain wiring. Crawling is an important milestone that allows babies to explore their environment and learn about the world around them. Number 5. Language starts before they speak. So there you have it. Those are 5 amazing things that happen during the first year of life. Welcome to 2025. It's the year that you finally get your life back. Let's dive in. Toddlers are like tiny chat machines, especially if they're talking to you. This is also the time when toddlers go from being little infants who are pretty much helpless to little people who can do lots of things by themselves. At first, they might need help with things like pouring out milk or putting on a jacket. There's so much your little one wants to know about the world around them at this age. Just wait till that why starts coming out. Your toddler is naturally curious and wants to figure out how things work and why things happen. Saying no gives them a sense of control. As you probably already know, toddlers don't always understand the reasons behind rules. And even if they do, they might not care. But even though it's frustrating, this is actually a good thing. It means they're developing their sense of self. So next time you hear no, take it as a sign that your toddler is growing. Plus, when they say no, they probably really mean, I want to do it myself. So instead of getting upset, give them choices. For example, say, would you like the red cup or the blue cup? By giving them choices, you show them that you respect their opinions. Yes, this might lead to them choosing the same cup every single time. But hey, you're fostering their independence. They're exploring with their hands and their mouths. If something catches their eye, they want to know all about it. Toddlers love to copy you. They want to be just like you. The next stage is pre-K, ages 3 to 5 years. And if you want to learn more about child development, check out the link below. We hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, you've got this. We believe in you. They mimic your facial expressions and they repeat the words you say, even if those words are clean your room, which they're definitely not going to do. This is called the brain's mirror system. It helps them learn language, understand emotions, and figure out how to interact with other people. So if you're trying to teach them not to hit, don't hit someone and say no while you're hitting the TV in frustration. That's not going to go well. When they copy you, it's a great opportunity to model positive behavior. So next time you see them copying you, say, hey, that's right. We say please when we want something. They might start asking lots of questions like, what's that? Why can't I? How does this work? Don't worry, you don't have to have every single answer. In fact, answering some of these questions will require some research on your part. It's okay to say, I don't know. Let's find out. This is also a great opportunity to encourage your toddler's natural curiosity. Read books about everyday things. Talk about colors, shapes, and other things you see around you. Answer any questions you can, and let them explore things safely when possible. It is also a great idea to turn off screens and put away devices when you re-spending time together. Give your toddler your full attention, and they'll love it. But then soon they're doing it all on their own. This newfound independence makes toddlers feel really proud. They're how kids express themselves when they don't have the words to do it yet. And yes, they're usually a sign that something is bothering them. Some common triggers include hunger, fatigue, overstimulation, wanting something they can't have, or needing to use the bathroom. A lot of these triggers are physical, which is why so many tantrums happen around meal times and nap times. Try to avoid these triggers if you can, but no matter how hard you try, sometimes tantrums will still happen. When they do, stay calm. Take deep breaths and don't give in to your toddler's demands. Giving in only teaches them that tantrums get them what they want. Instead, distract them with a toy or activity, or, if that doesn't work, comfort them when they're done. But don't give in. Also, it's important to note that some cultures are more accepting of emotional expression than others. If this is your first child, you may be extra sensitive to tantrums. So rest assured, it's okay to let your child experience the natural consequences of their actions. And it's okay to let them cry sometimes. Of course, always keep an eye on your child's safety. If they're hurting themselves or others, gently stop the behavior and comfort them. Make sure they're in a safe place and give them time to calm down. It can be hard to watch them upset, but letting them cry it out will help them learn to stop, which is a really important skill. That is until something happens that they don't like, such as not being able to do something that they want to do or having to stop playing to do something else, like eat lunch. Then watch out, because this is when tantrums hit full force. They know you'll keep the conversation going, which they love. They'll ask for what they want. They might even try to tell you what happened at daycare or preschool. And as they build vocabulary, they're also building those all-important language skills needed for reading and writing later on. Keep talking, reading, singing, and rhyming with your toddler. This helps them get ready for school. You can do this. We believe in you. But first, we need to talk about stage 3. 1 to 3 years, little feet, big feels. This is the age when your little one goes from saying maybe a few words to full-on chatting. But wait, there's more. Yes, the toddler years are famous for lots of big feelings and big emotions. And those feelings can swing wildly from happy to sad to mad in just a few minutes. And sometimes those feelings come out as a full-on tantrum. No matter how hard they try, some days toddlers simply can't control their emotions. And they don't have the language skills yet to explain why they're feeling the way they do. So instead, they cry, scream, throw things, sometimes hurt themselves and might even bite or kick. These tantrums are normal and healthy, but they can be really tough to deal with. We've got some tips coming up to help you navigate these emotional roller. Now back to our chatty, busy, feeling toddler. Okay, now let's talk about those infamous toddler tantrums. Tantrums are an important part of development. Now, speaking of no, toddlers are famous for their no. This is the age when toddlers assert their independence. One last thing about toddlers and no. When you say no, they say no. It's just the way it is. That's a wrap on stage 3. If you liked the video, don't forget to click the thumbs up button below and leave us a comment.
Hey, I'm here to help. Welcome to my channel, The House of Parenting, where parents go when their kids beat the SH it out them. Are you at the point where you're ready to take back control without all of the battles? If so, this video is for you. But powerful tips that will help you win the screen time war in your home. So if you're ready to end the arguments, power struggles, tears, and frustration around screen time, let's dive right in. Have you been struggling with how much screen time your kids are getting? As a tech expert who has been studying teen brain development and digital well-being for over 10 years, I have some simple, for example, explain how too much screen time can affect sleep or how important it is to connect with family and friends in person. Involve your kids in setting limits. If you have older kids, give them ownership of their screen time by having them set goals and limits for themselves. If you're disconnected from your kids' lives, they're more likely to hide what they're doing and argue about screen time when you're connected. You can work together to set healthy limits. If your child is feeling bored, frustrated, lonely, or sad, they may turn to screens for comfort or distraction. You'll also be able to identify underlying emotional needs that may be driving their screen time use. Stay up to date on what's going on in their world. Focus on building healthy digital habits. Kids are more likely to follow rules when they understand why they're in place and when they feel capable of following through. When we give feelings a name, we take away their power. Teach your kids that all feelings are okay and help them develop a vocabulary to express their emotions if they're stressed or anxious. Teach them relaxation techniques or mindfulness exercises if they're feeling down. Help them engage in physical activity or volunteer work. Remember to focus on building healthy digital habits, breaking down goals into smaller steps. Staying connected, identifying emotions, creating a plan, and using technology to your advantage. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more tech tips and check out our website for more resources. And remember, you've got this. Good luck. By working together to create a plan, your kids will be more likely to stick to it. Check in with your kids regularly to see how the agreed upon limits and goals are working out. Be prepared to adjust as your kids' needs change. For example, if your kid is bored, help them discover hobbies or activities they enjoy. For younger kids, model good digital habits yourself. Make it a family priority to have tech-free times in spaces like dinner and bedrooms. Use technology to your advantage by setting up parental controls, utilizing screen time trackers, and exploring kid-friendly screen time management apps. One of the biggest mistakes parents make is trying to tackle too much at once. Share the screen time stats with your kids. Many devices allow you to view screen time data. Use this information to have open conversations with your kids about their usage patterns and help them understand the impact of too much screen time. Encourage them to set goals and celebrate their progress together. Once you achieve that, move on to other goals like, I want my kid to use educational apps for 1 hour each day. By setting small achievable goals, you'll gain momentum and your kids will see tangible progress, which will motivate them to keep going. If your current situation feels overwhelming, break it down into smaller goals. Tip number 1, build healthy digital habits instead of imposing strict rules. Explain to your kids the why behind the rules. This gives them a sense of control and responsibility. Monitor and adjust. Tip 2, break down the battle into smaller doable goals. Start with something like, I want my kid to have a 30-minute limit for recreational screen time. Tip 3, stay connected to what's happening in your kid's life. Ask questions and listen actively when they come home with stories. Show genuine interest in their activities and friendships. Tip 4, identify and label emotions without judgment. Emotions are the driving force behind behaviors. Help your kids identify and label their emotions without judgment. This will enable them to communicate their needs more effectively and find alternative ways to meet them without resorting to excessive screen time. Tip 5, create a plan together. Involve your kids in creating a plan to address their emotional needs and find alternatives to excessive screen time. If they're lonely, encourage them to spend time with friends or join clubs or sports teams. Tip 6, use technology to your advantage. There are many apps and tools available to help you manage your kids' screen time. These tools can help enforce limits, track usage, and provide insights into your kids' online activity. So there you have it. These 6 tips can help you win the screen time war in your home without the battles. It's not about taking away their devices, but about teaching them how to use them responsibly and balance their screen time with other aspects of their lives. We believe that every parent has the ability to create a healthy tech-balanced home.
Hi! I'm a psychiatrist, and I make mental health education videos. The topic for today comes from a viewer who asked, can you do a video about tantrums and emotional meltdowns? You bet. Let's talk about tantrums and emotional meltdowns. The person experiencing the meltdown may be overwhelmed with the emotion and unable to regulate or control it. They may lash out, become combative, or appear to be out of control. A meltdown is a word that's used to describe an episode of uncontrolled, excessive, and often irrational anger, or another intense emotion like fear or sadness. Underlying mental health conditions such as mood disorders, anxiety disorders, PTSD, personality disorders, or dementia can make it difficult for adults to regulate their emotions and may lead to meltdowns. If a person has experienced abuse or neglect as a child, they may be more likely to have difficulty regulating their emotions and controlling their behavior in times of stress. Childhood adversity can also make one more vulnerable to developing mental health problems in adulthood, which can increase the risk of emotional dysregulation and subsequent tantrums or meltdowns. Physical illnesses and medical conditions can also cause emotional dysregulation and contribute to certain medications and substances can also play a role. For example, substance-induced psychosis can cause people to become delusional and hallucinate, which can lead to aggressive or self-injurious behavior. For children, behavioral therapies such as applied behavior analysis, parent management training, and social skills training can help children learn how to regulate their emotions and control their behavior. In adults, psychotherapy, medication, or a combination of both can be helpful. Psychotherapy can help adults explore the underlying causes of their emotional dysregulation and develop coping skills. Medication can be used to treat co-occurring mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, or bipolar disorder, which may contribute to emotional instability. It is a behavioral response that children use when they lack the emotional and verbal ability to communicate their feelings and needs in an acceptable way. They are genuinely struggling to cope with their emotions and may need our understanding and support rather than judgment or criticism. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Tantrums can manifest as kicking, screaming, yelling, crying, holding their breath, or even faint. The term tantrum is often used interchangeably with meltdown. But technically, a tantrum is a type of meltdown that typically occurs in children. So what causes tantrums and meltdowns? There are many possible causes depending on the age of the person. In young children, it can be a reaction to frustration, tiredness, hunger, or other basic needs not being met. As children get older, they develop more advanced language and emotional regulation skills. But some continue to have trouble controlling their emotions. This can be due to a variety of factors, including an inability to adequately perceive social cues, rejection by peers, not being able to do a desired activity, or not having control over their environment. Children with certain neurodevelopmental conditions, such as autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, mood disorders, anxiety disorders, or learning disabilities, may also have difficulty regulating their emotions and may be more prone to having tantrums or meltdowns. In adults, emotional meltdowns are usually a result of an inability to cope with stress, anxiety, or other intense emotions. Another cause of tantrums and meltdowns is maltreatment in childhood. And finally, some people may use tantrums or other manipulative behaviors as a form of emotional blackmail or to get attention or sympathy from others. So, how are tantrums and meltdowns treated? Treatment depends on the underlying It is important to remember that people who experience tantrums or meltdowns are not doing it intentionally to be manipulative or difficult. If this video was helpful, please like and share it.
Mealtimes can be stressful for parents of picky eaters. But what if they didn't have to be? In this video, we'll go from food fights and mealtime battles to happy family dinners. So let's dive right in. Picky eating is often tied to mealtime power struggles, which means there are probably some patterns happening at mealtimes that are contributing to the tension. Before we can solve a problem, we need to get to the root cause. Now that you understand the underlying causes of your child's picky eating, it's time to take action. Start by setting a good example. Model the behavior you wanted to see in your child by showing them how much you enjoy trying new foods. The one golden rule for picky eating is this: don't make food the battleground. This is a great way to introduce new foods to your child. All you need is a plate divided into 4 sections and some colorful food markers. Place a small portion of a new food in one section of the plate and let your child explore it with their fork. If they don't like the taste, they can simply move on to another section of the plate. This method helps kids feel in control of their eating experience, while still allowing them to try new things. It may take time for your child to warm up to new foods, but with your encouragement and support, they'll eventually get there. Plus, when you focus on the positive and avoid power struggles, you'll create a more enjoyable mealtime experience for everyone. So don't worry if it takes time. Keep trying and stay positive. By avoiding power struggles and focusing on the positive, you can create a more enjoyable mealtime experience for everyone. Kids are more likely to try new things when they feel a sense of ownership or control. So give your child options whenever possible. For example, let them choose between healthy proteins for dinner or ask them to help prepare a meal. By involving them in the process, they'll be more invested in the outcome and more likely to try new things. Then ask, "Are you hungry now?" If they say yes, offer them a healthy snack option. If they say no, wait 15 minutes and ask again. Repeat this process until they accept a snack. This is a good way to make sure that your child is getting the nutrition they need, while also respecting their hunger cues. You can also make mealtimes more fun and engaging. Try playing music, telling stories, or having everyone at the table share something they're grateful for. Use cookie cutters to make fun shapes or arrange food in an interesting pattern on the plate. There will be times when your child simply isn't hungry, no matter how much you coax them to eat. If this happens, don't force it. Just clear the table and let them eat when they're ready. Otherwise, you could end up creating a negative association with mealtimes. You can also involve your child in the process by letting them help set the table or arrange the food. When we make positive changes in our own behavior and the environment, kids are more likely to follow suit. So ask yourself, why is my child being so difficult at mealtimes? Is it because they're hungry, or is it because they want to assert their independence? Or maybe it's a sensory issue or something else entirely. Digging deeper will help you come up with more targeted and effective solutions. For instance, if it's a sensory issue, you might try making the food more appealing by cutting it into fun shapes, or arranging it in an attractive way on the plate. Perhaps you notice your child gets upset when it's time for dinner, or maybe they always leave food on their plate. Once you've detected those patterns, take a close look at how you respond. Are you getting drawn into a power struggle? Do you find yourself pressuring, nagging, or arguing with your child about food? Recognizing these pressure traps is the first step to breaking free from them. How to detect mealtime patterns and pressure traps. First, we need to understand our enemy. How to define what's really causing the problem. How to direct a new food culture in your home. How to respond when your child refuses food. One of the hardest parts of dealing with a picky eater is knowing how to respond. When they refuse to eat, on one hand, you don't want to cave in and give them something else, but on the other hand, you don't want to have a big blow-up. So what's the solution? Try the following. Stay calm and matter-of-fact. Avoid getting into a power struggle by giving choices. Saying things like "you can eat this" or "that sets up a win-lose scenario." Instead, try "this tastes great. Which do you want to eat first?" This gives your child a sense of control over the situation while still allowing them to try new things. And remember to be patient. It may take several attempts before your child is willing to try new food. The one golden rule to reduce mealtime stress instantly. Now let's look at the try-plate method. Here's another tip: reduce resistance through ownership and control. Next, we need to understand kids' psychology around food. Kids often eat with their eyes first, so make food look fun and appealing. And finally, know when to walk away. When they say "I'm not hungry," 5 minutes after you clear the table, give them a snack. Remember, patience is key when dealing with a picky eater. If you found this helpful, stay tuned for more parenting tips. See you next time.
Hi, I'm the co-founder of a parenting academy and a mom of 6. Today we are talking discipline that actually works. No yelling, no guilt. I know this sounds crazy, but if you think of discipline as something that is meant to be a consequence or a punishment, then you're going to approach it from a place of frustration and anger. So first, learn to detect the difference between disrespect and dysregulation. Dysregulation looks like this. Set clear boundaries around what you will and will not accept in your home, and then follow through with calm authority. Don't get into battles with your kids over whether or not they're going to do what you're asking them to do. Fear-based and force-based parenting leads to anxious and defiant children. This is a method that has been so exciting for my family. When it comes to consequences, it's important to choose wisely. Many times we react emotionally to our children's behavior, so take a moment to pause and assess the situation. Is this something that would be a good consequence? Would it be an effective consequence? Would it teach my child the lesson that I want them to learn? In this example, a natural consequence would be if they chose not to wear a coat, then they would have to sit out of recess at school. They will learn that if they don't put on a coat, then they're going to be cold and miserable. A calm command is simply giving a direction in a calm voice and expecting it to be followed without any negotiation. When our kids lie to us, defy us, or test our limits, it can feel very overwhelming. But in those moments, I choose to parent with both grace and grit. Grace means that I won't react with anger or frustration, but grit means that I won't give up on my standards. It also means that I'll hold my ground until my child comes around. For example, I'm going to clean up my toys right now. And I expect you to clean up your toys right now. We don't control our kids, but we do have the opportunity to influence them. And that is such an incredible blessing. Use these tools to help guide your children, not punish them. Believe me, your relationship with your children will be so much better for it. This shows your kids that you mean business, but in a way that doesn't make them feel demoralized or scared. When we yell and scream at our kids, they're learning that they can't trust us, and they're definitely not going to respect us. Instead, choose to enforce your rules with calm authority. Again, connection is key. If you've connected with your child and they know that you love them and you're not mad at them, then they're much more likely to listen. Instead, help them see that there are certain things that are non-negotiable in your home. Defiance isn't intentional, I'm going to do this just to push your buttons. Whereas disrespect is more of a, I don't know any better. I need you to help me regulate. And unfortunately, your kids will feel that. But if you see discipline as teaching, guiding, and helping your child become their best self, then it becomes something that you can do with love and calm authority. I am convinced these 10 tools will transform your relationship with your children and make discipline something that feels good instead of something that you dread. Number 1, discipline is not punishment. When our kids break a rule, many times they don't even know why the rule exists. So take the time to define the root cause of the disobedience, the lying, or the back talk. Connect with your child to help them understand why that rule exists. Number 2, disrespect is not defiance. Sometimes kids will test us because they want to see if we really mean what we say. Number 3, define the why. Make it a priority to have regular one-on-one time with each of your children. This is where you'll build the connection and the trust that will make discipline easier. It's during these times that you can talk about things that might be happening at school or in their life that could be contributing to the disrespect. Number 4, direct with calm authority. Number 5, connection is your most powerful tool. Number 6, enforce rules without fear or force. Number 7, calm command. Number 8, logical consequences. Number 9, grace and grit. Number 10, you're not here to control your child. You're here to lead them. And this is how real leadership looks in parenting.
You know that moment when you think, this is it. We finally got the kids to bed at a reasonable hour, but then one of them or maybe all of them get up and decided to start another play or pajama party. In this video, I'm gonna help you stop it from happening. Whether your kids are preschoolers, kindergartners, first graders, second graders, third graders, fourth graders, fifth graders, sixth graders, or even seventh graders, I've got some tips for you to end the chaos and help your kids go from resisting bedtime to actually wanting to go to bed. And once you identify the problem, you can work on fixing it. But I'm not tired, or they start telling you every single thing that they have to go potty again. And look at the ceiling while you sing them a song or play white noise. Have them take some deep breaths or do a little meditation together. As long as they're getting the amount of sleep that they need, it's okay if bedtime isn't exactly the same every single night. First of all, make sure that you have a calm, consistent bedtime process that your child actually wants to follow. This might involve some trial and error, but eventually you'll find a routine that works for both you and your kids. If your kids are too tired, they'll fall asleep much faster. And if they're not tired enough, they'll resist bedtime even more. Give them a massage or let them listen to an audiobook. If they're nervous about being separated from you, it might help to have a nightlight in their room or a special stuffed animal that makes them feel loved and secure. If your kids are old enough, teach them how to use a weighted blanket or a breathing app to help them relax. So let's talk about 3 mistakes that you may be making at bedtime. What you can do instead, kids thrive on routine, so it's important to have a general idea of what's going to happen at bedtime. It's a chance to help them develop healthy habits that will last a lifetime. So make bedtime a bridge, not a battlefield. And remember, you've got this. Liking this video and following for more helps me keep making videos just like this. So thank you. Now let's go make bedtime better. However, sometimes we need to be flexible. And then how you can turn bedtime from a battle into a breeze. They need a drink of water. They remember they have to tell you something really important about their day. And if you're really lucky, they might even be able to squeeze in one more story before finally going back to bed. Ah, yes, the classic bedtime resistance. It happens to the best of us. We think that we need to get them into their jammies, brush their teeth, read them a story, tuck them in, and then they will fall asleep. This is basically a visual reminder that it's time to start winding down for bed. You could use a timer, a visual schedule, or even a special song. By teaching your kids what to do when it's time for bed, you'll make the transition much smoother. But sometimes our kids need a little bit more help winding down. I'm a mom of 6 kiddos, and I've been where you are, pulling my kids off of bunk beds and couches and chairs, and I have learned a few tricks along the way. First of all, let's talk about mistake number 1, thinking that the only reason your kids don't want to go to bed is because they're not tired. Now, it might seem obvious that we think our kids need to be tired to go to bed, but there are other reasons why they might be resisting. Are they nervous about being separated from you? Maybe they had an overstimulating day and their brains are still revved up. Maybe your bedtime routine is all over the place and they don't know what to expect. Or maybe they're just trying to get one more story out of you. In order to stop the bedtime battle, you need to figure out the real reason your kids don't want to go to bed. Now, the next mistake is mistake number 2, thinking that you have to force your kids to go to bed. Instead of just forcing them to go to bed, try some calming techniques like having them lie on their backs. Mistake number 3 is thinking that bedtime has to be exactly the same every single night. Maybe your kids had an extra busy day and need to stay up just a little bit later, or maybe they woke up early and need to get some extra sleep. So now that you know what not to do, let's talk about what you can do instead. Next, make sure that your kids feel safe and secure at bedtime. Finally, make sure that bedtime is actually happening at the right time. And I've got one bonus tip for you. Teach your kids how to use a sleep signal system. Putting your kids to bed isn't just about getting them to sleep. It's also about teaching them how to rest, regulate, and reset.
We all know that sibling rivalry is real. But did you know that there are ways to stop the fighting and actually build a strong bond between your children? That's right. Hi, I'm the founder of a parenting program. Today, we're diving into sibling rivalry. Does it feel like things escalate quickly into an all-out war? Knowing the triggers can help you redirect the situation before things get physical. For example, if a certain toy always causes a fight between siblings. Use redirection and clear communication to help your kids express their feelings appropriately. Teach them to take turns. Share materials and compromise. Role-play different scenarios so they're prepared for different situations. Equal parenting sounds fair, but in reality, it doesn't consider the different needs of each child. Here's a simple script you can use when your kids are fighting over a toy. This will help them bond and create positive memories. These moments of connection will help them remember that they're a team, that they're in this together. Hey, I see that both of you want to play with the truck. You're teaching your kids how to be allies for life. Let's build homes where brothers and sisters have each other's backs by teaching our children these skills. We're not just helping them navigate sibling rivalry. We're equipping them with the tools for healthy relationships for life. When they learn to control their emotions, communicate effectively, and solve problems peacefully, they'll be better equipped to handle any challenge that comes their way. It's not okay to hit, but I understand that you're both upset. Let's take a few deep breaths and figure out a solution. After they've calmed down, ask them to come up with a plan. Then acknowledge their solution with praise. I'm so proud of you for figuring this out on your own. As parents, we need to meet our children where they are. A one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work. What worked for your oldest might not work for your youngest when we compare our children. We're telling them that they're in competition with each other. Instead, celebrate their individuality and help them see each other as strengths, as something to admire rather than something that makes them feel inadequate if they start tattling. Calmly tell them tattling isn't helpful if someone hurts you. Tell me and I'll talk to both of you about it. Be empathetic, but firm. Then focus on problem solving rather than placing blame. As they grow, their needs change. What worked at age 2 won't necessarily work at age 10. And that's okay. But if we don't adapt, we could be setting them up for a failure. For example, if one child needs more help with sharing and the other needs reminders to be kind, giving them both the same consequence for fighting isn't effective. It's not equal. It's inconsistent. Instead, focus on what each child needs to learn and tailor your approach accordingly. This will show them that you see them as individuals and help them grow in a way that makes sense. For them, it also sets clear expectations when consequences are appropriate for the individual. Child, they know that you Ray not playing favorites, and that you Ray being fair by considering their unique needs. For example, I feel angry when or I feel jealous when. Help them to identify their feelings and then teach them how to express those feelings in an assertive, non-violent way. Agree that it is off limits until both kids have had a chance to play with it or find an activity that both of them enjoy and look forward to doing together. We're going to talk about how to stop the fighting once and for all, how to define the real reason behind sibling fights, and how to help your kids communicate and resolve conflicts peacefully. Most of the time, sibling fights are about power struggles, not toys. Younger children might throw tantrums because they want to be in control, while older children might lash out because they feel threatened by their younger sibling. Recognizing the root cause of the problem will help you guide your children towards a resolution. So let's get started. The first step to ending sibling rivalry is to be aware of the warning signs. Are there certain toys that always lead to arguments? Number 2. Define the real reason behind sibling fights. Hint, it's not always about the toy. Model emotional regulation. Break up the fight and acknowledge each child's feelings. Don't take sides or play referee. Instead, help them come up with a solution together. For example, it seems like both of you want to play with the same toy. How can you share it or take turns? Once they've come up with a solution, have them shake hands and agree on a plan for next time. Number 3. Direct healthy communication, conflict resolution, and team building. Number 4. What to do in the moment when things go from 0 to WWE. Stay calm. Number 5. The myth of equal parenting and what kids really need instead. Number 6. Simple scripts for resolving fights without picking sides. Number 7. Build rituals of connection between siblings. Make time for one-on-one time with each child and create shared experiences that only they can participate in together. Number 8. Powerful strategies to prevent comparison, resentment, and tattletales. Comparison leads to disconnection. You're not just stopping fights. So let's raise a generation of kids who don't just tolerate each other, but who support, care for, and have each other's backs. If you found this advice helpful, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Haim, the founder of a parenting program for kids ages 2 to 12. Today, we read talking about what to do when your kid lies or defies a rule. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 things. Number 1, how to detect those defiance patterns and small lies that happen before the big ones. Kids are testing limits and boundaries. They're naturally more defiant, but it can feel like a power struggle sometimes, especially when they're lying. No. 2, how to define what are the root causes. Is it fear of punishment? Is it a lack of control? Is it emotional overload? But let's talk about how to spot those small lies. Is it fear of punishment? Is it a lack of control? Is it emotional overload? Maybe your child feels embarrassed that they did unfinish their homework, or maybe they were angry that they were unallowed to play outside during recess, so they lashed out and said that they had an assignment due. When you figure out what the underlying cause is, then you can address that. And the most important thing to remember is don't shame. Don't shame, don't use sarcasm, don't play the power game. Say things like, when you finish your chores, then you can play video games. Be consistent. Don't break, no matter how much they whine or complain. Remain calm. Stay connected. Kids push our buttons on purpose. Sometimes they test to see if we're really going to follow through with a consequence. 5. Focus on what's working. Celebrate your successes. You can choose to set a good example. You can choose to show your child how to handle disappointment and frustration without lying or being disrespectful. Every time your child makes a good decision, acknowledge it. Tell them how proud you are. Write a note, make a chart. Sometimes they want to see if we'll cave. Remember, it's not about you. It's about them. Stay calm. Breathe. I've never met a parent who intentionally tries to harm their child. You just want them to be honest. You have to pay attention to patterns. If your child suddenly starts lying more frequently, or they offer up false alibis, when they relate coming home, say something like, "Wow, it sounds like you're feeling angry that you couldn't go out to recess. I love you. I know you can be honest with me. I'm here to help you with whatever is making you feel like you need to lie." Then remind them of the rule. Remember, our rule is no electronics on school nights, so that you can get enough sleep. Follow through with a consequence if necessary. Ask them what they think you should do in certain situations. This helps them develop self-confidence and decision-making skills. When they haven't finished their chores, when they've broken a rule, then that could be a sign that they're experimenting with lying. He says that lying often begins at age 3, and it peaks around age 8. Kids need to learn how to pause and reflect before they act. You can teach them breathing techniques. You can teach them affirmations to say. You can teach them to take a break. Here's why kids lie. A lot of times it has nothing to do with you. It's not because you're so mean and they're afraid of your reaction. It doesn't mean that they have bad character. Most of the time, it's a developmental stage. Their brains are actually wired to experiment with deception. They want to see what happens if they tell a little white lie or leave out a little white lie. They're testing their own morality. They're learning how to be human. Sometimes kids lie because they don't quite understand the difference between fantasy and reality. For example, if they've been playing superhero all day and they come home with dirt on them and a scraped knee, they might say, "I was Batman fighting the Joker." Or, "A dad told me that his son insisted that he had homework when he really was feeling well and wanted to stay home from school." These types of lies are relatively harmless, but they can become more serious. And then number 3, how to direct that honest behavior with firm, respectful strategies. What to do in the moment when your child is lying or pushing your buttons? I have worked with thousands of parents just like you, and I know that this is a challenging age. One of my favorite books on this topic is called Why Does He Do That? By Dr. Daniel J. Siegel. If you think your child is lying to cover up a bigger problem, like bullying or academic struggles, then you need to dig deeper. Now here's the hard part, figuring out why your child is lying. Here's what to do instead. Number 1, acknowledge their feelings. So here are the exact words to say when you catch your child lying or pushing your buttons. If you want to build trust and respect with your child, you have to give them choices. Give them age-appropriate choices. Number 2, set clear boundaries. Number 3, teach impulse control. Number 4, don't take it personally. No. And finally, number 6, remember that you are the adult. You always have a choice in how you react. You can choose to remain calm. If you'd like additional support, check out my website.
Welcome back to the channel. I'm a doctor. I'm an emergency room doctor who treats everything from COVID to gunshot wounds, burns, you name it. Ivy created this video series to help answer some of your medical questions and the questions that come up every day. If you find this video helpful, please do me a favor and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about parent burnout. We've all been there. You wake up and you're already stressed out. You feel like you don't have any energy. Your kids are fighting. You got to get them ready for school. Maybe your spouse isn't helping out as much as you want. And then they leave and now you got to go to work. First and foremost, make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Easier said than done, I know. Sit outside, listen to the birds, close your eyes, breathe. Let them know what you're going through and ask for help. It's okay to not be okay, and it's even okay to ask for help. A therapist can provide you with the tools and resources you need to manage your stress and develop healthy coping mechanisms. In fact, it's a sign of strength. Last but not least, set boundaries. It's important to set boundaries between your work life and your home life. Try to create a schedule that allows for some time to decompress after work before you start taking care of everyone else. It can make a big difference if you just give yourself permission to take a break. Next, learn to say no. It's okay to say no. You don't have to do everything that's asked of you. Learn to delegate tasks and share the responsibility with others. But try to get to bed earlier. Turn off all your screens, read a book, take a warm bath. Whatever it takes to get some extra shut-eye. Next, eat healthy. I know it's easier to just grab something quick and easy, but try to fuel your body with good stuff. Drink lots of water and limit your caffeine intake. Exercise is also a great way to boost your energy levels. Remember, you're not alone. It's okay to ask for help. And taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's strategic. I hope this video has been helpful. Please subscribe and turn your notifications on. When you do that and you hit that like button, you let us know that you like to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself and stay healthy, my friends. Even just a little bit of exercise can make a big difference. So put on your favorite tunes, dance around your living room. The point is to find activities that you enjoy so that you look forward to doing them. A lot of people think of burnout as just being tired. But actually, burnout is more than that. It's physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion all at the same time. And having those three together can really take a toll on your body. Physically, you might be getting a lot of headaches, stomach aches, muscle tension, difficulty sleeping, or maybe oversleeping. Emotionally, you might be feeling more irritable, more depressed, maybe even having anxiety. Mentally, it could be difficulty concentrating, feeling like you're losing your mind, forgetting things. You know, like you can't remember where you're going because you're on automatic pilot. So how do you define what's draining your tank? Sometimes it can be hard to figure out exactly what's making you feel so drained. So here are some questions to ask yourself, and you might want to try some of these solutions to help you cope. But before we get into that, I want to say this: taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's strategic leadership. As the oxygen mask analogy goes, you have to take care of yourself first so you can take care of others. Are you feeling overwhelmed with the amount of responsibility you have right now? Do you feel like you have no control over your schedule or your life? Are you lacking support from friends, family, or your partner? Do you feel isolated or alone? Are you sacrificing your own needs and wants to take care of everybody else? And last but not least, are you not getting enough sleep? If you said yes to any of these, you're not alone. All right, let's continue. Let's talk about how to fix this. Next, take breaks. I know you're busy, but try to take a few minutes each day to do something just for you. Next, seek support. Talk to your friends, family, or partner. And if you're still feeling burned out, don't hesitate to seek professional help. All right, folks, that's been a quick guide to dealing with burnout while raising a human.
Hey, are you struggling to connect with your teen? Do you feel like you re-getting the cold shoulder or the evil eye whenever you try to talk to them? We will also be giving away some cool tools and tactics that will help you communicate better with your teen, even when they are being difficult. So let's dive in. It's important to recognize the warning signs so you can step in and help your teen before things escalate. Some common warning signs include changes in mood, behavior, or sleep patterns, as well as social withdrawal or declining grades. Are you worried about their attitude and wondering how to get through to them? It's important to respect their boundaries, but also to let them know that you there for them whenever they ready to open up. You can do this by being consistent. being reliable and keeping your promises. But the truth is that they probably just need some space. They're going through a lot of changes and they need time to process those changes on their own terms. So instead of pushing back, try giving them space. When your teen lies to you, it can be frustrating and disappointing. Remember, it's not always easy, but it's always worth it. But it's important to remember that they're still learning and that they will make mistakes. Instead of getting angry or punishing them, try having an honest conversation with them about why lying is harmful and how it affects you. If they're being secretive, try asking open-ended questions to find out why. They may be hiding something from you because they're afraid of your reaction. So try to create a safe space where they feel comfortable enough to share with you. When it comes to disrespect, it's important to address it right away. Disrespectful behavior is never okay, but when you do address it, try to do it in a way that is firm but also compassionate. Let them know that you understand their perspective, but also explain why their behavior is unacceptable. Let them come to you when they're ready to talk, and when they do, be patient, be empathetic, and be understanding. When they do open up, show them that you're listening and that you care. In these situations, it's important to stay calm and use humor to diffuse the tension. The emotion mirror technique is a great way to do this. To use this technique, simply repeat back to your teen what they said in a different tone of voice. For example, if they say something sarcastically, repeat it back to them in a serious tone of voice. Or, if they say something cold, repeat it back to them in a warm tone of voice. This technique can help you stay calm, diffuse the situation, and show your teen that you understand how they're feeling. But the good news is that there are some simple things you can do to improve your relationship with your teen and get them to open up again. Starting a conversation with your teen can be difficult, especially when they're in a bad mood. But it's important to keep trying because the more you talk to them, the more likely they are to open up. Try using open-ended questions to start conversations. For example, instead of asking, "What did you do today?" try asking, "What was the best part of your day?" This type of question encourages them to share more than just a one-word answer. If you answered yes, then this video is for you. Today we will explore common teen attitudes and behaviors, why they do it, and most importantly, how to stay connected when they pull away. Did you know that 90% of parents struggled to connect with their teen at some point? You're definitely not alone. It's important to create a safe space where your teen feels comfortable enough to open up to you. This means being patient, being a good listener, and avoiding judgmental language or phrases. Instead of saying you're grounded, try saying something like, "I'm disappointed and we need to talk about this." It's all about finding the right words to express yourself in a way that is both firm and compassionate. First, you need to understand how to detect emotional withdrawal, passive-aggressive behavior, and hidden stress. Second, you need to define what's really behind the attitude. It's important to remember that most of the time, it's not about you. It's about them. They're going through a lot of changes and they're trying to find their place in the world. They may be dealing with issues at school, with friends, or with other aspects of their life that they don't feel comfortable sharing with you. So instead of taking their behavior personally, try to understand that it's just a part of their journey. Third, you need to direct respectful, open communication without lecturing, overreaching, or shutting them down. Fourth, you need to build trust even if your teen doesn't want to talk about it. Now, let us explore some real tools and tactics that you can use to stay connected with your teen when they have a bad attitude. 1. Why do teens push you away? When your teen pushes you away, it can be tempting to push back or to give up. 2. The emotion mirror technique. When your teen is being sarcastic or cold, it can be difficult to know how to respond. 3. Conversation openers that actually get more than a grunt. 4. How to handle lying, secrecy, and disrespect without losing connection. When you use these tools and tactics, you'll be able to stay connected with your teen even when they have a bad attitude. If you found this information helpful, please let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to our channel. Are you a co-parent facing challenges in creating a positive and nurturing environment for your child? Do you sometimes feel like the transition from one home to another is more of a battle than a bridge? Today we're diving into a topic that resonates with many of our viewers, co-parenting without chaos. Our featured book is Co-Parenting Without Chaos: How to Raise Great Kids Across Two Homes by Dr. Joe Frost. This comprehensive guide walks you through the intricate world of co-parenting, offering practical advice and heartfelt encouragement every step of the way. Families would function as harmonious units with both parents actively contributing to their child's upbringing. However, the reality of many families doesn't always align with this ideal. With the right tools and mindset, you can ensure that your child's journey through this critical period is as smooth and nurturing as possible. Instead of aiming for rigid uniformity, strive for harmony in your disciplinary approaches. For instance, if one parent typically employs a stricter approach, while the other is more lenient, aim for a middle ground where both parents still maintain a connection with the child despite having different styles. The journey of co-parenting can be likened to navigating a roller coaster ride. If you find yourself stuck in a cycle of blame and criticism towards your ex-partner, consider the impact on your child. They are silently observing and absorbing the dynamics between their parents. By choosing to communicate constructively, you're not only demonstrating positive behavior, but also equipping your child with essential emotional regulation skills. There are moments when you reach the summit, filled with hope and optimism for a positive co-parenting relationship. It's a stark reminder that your child's well-being should never be compromised in a tug-of-war with your ex-partner. But as the ride twists and turns, you might find yourself plummeting into the valleys of conflict and stress. The narrative of your child's early years can be one of resilience, growth, and love, even in the face of parental separation. Your likes and shares help spread this message to more parents who might benefit from these timeless parenting principles. Till next time, happy parenting, and remember, you've got this. Embrace the challenges as opportunities for growth, not just for your child, but for you as a co-parent as well. As Dr. Frost asserts, children thrive in the first 6 years of life, even if their parents can't. Your reactions and choices significantly impact your child's perception of the world and their ability to navigate the complexities of family dynamics. Take a moment to reflect on your co-parenting style. Are you stuck in the blame game, pointing fingers at your ex-partner for every challenge your child faces? Or are you part of the solution, actively working to create a united front for your child's well-being? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences and insights might resonate with other parents going through similar journeys. But before we delve into the wisdom shared by Dr. Frost, let's engage in a quick exercise. In an ideal world, the conversation about co-parenting would be unnecessary. As Dr. Frost emphasizes, it's crucial to acknowledge that you are not alone in this journey. One of the key takeaways from Dr. Frost's book is that you have the power to choose your response. Whether you're at the peak of a joyful parenting moment or facing the challenges head-on, Dr. Frost encourages you to adopt a flexible approach to discipline, recognizing that consistency between two households might not always be achievable. Effective communication is a cornerstone of successful co-parenting. Dr. Frost underscores the importance of putting aside past hurts and focusing on the present needs of your child. Furthermore, Dr. Frost encourages parents to resist the urge to use their child as a pawn in a high-conflict situation. As we conclude this exploration of co-parenting wisdom from Dr. Joe Frost, remember that you are not just a parent, you are a co-creator of your child's life story. If you found this discussion insightful, don't hesitate to show your support.
empowered kids. And today, we're going to talk about those 3 things that all solo parents need to know. So let's get into it. We have to pay attention to our feelings and the feelings of our children. When we feel depleted, resentful, exhausted, lonely, we can't give our best selves to our children. Structure provides safety. Kids thrive with routine and knowing what to expect. Those 3 things that you need to know as a solo parent. You can do this. Reach out to your village, whether that village is local or it's virtual. There are so many of us out there that are doing this journey of solo parenting, and we can support each other. Don't try to do it all. Ask for help. Take care of yourself, and your children will be just fine. So build in some simple routines and then stick to them as much as possible. Connection is key. We want to make sure that our kids know that we love them unconditionally and that we are there for them. So make sure you're spending quality time with your kids, really connecting and building that relationship. Confidence is something that comes with experience. The more you do this, the more confident you will become. Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. You are doing a great job. And when they see us struggling, they take on that struggle as their own. They will mirror our behavior. So if we're lashing out because we're frustrated, they will be lashing out and being frustrated. If we are modeling resilience, independence, self-care, they will be doing that as well. So now, 1, pay attention to your feelings and make sure you're taking care of yourself. If you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe reach out to a friend, get that support. Make sure you're eating well, you're sleeping, you're getting outside time. Those basic needs taken care of for you, and then you can show up in the way that you want to for your children. The first thing that you need to know is how to detect the emotional weight and mental load of solo parenting. The second thing that you need to know is how to define priorities that protect both your child's needs and your personal sanity. We have to make sure that we're setting healthy boundaries. It's okay to say no. You don't have to do it all. In fact, you can't do it all. And we have to let go of that perfectionist idea that we have as parents, that we should be doing everything. We should be making homemade meals every night. We should be attending every school function. We should be volunteering at every organization our child is involved in. We have to let go of that and decide what is most important to us and our family. Is it important for us to have dinner together every night? Great. Make that happen. But maybe you have to order in, or maybe you have to do a simple meal together. Decide what is important and focus on that. Let go of the rest. If that means sometimes you have to say no to your child, so be it. They will be okay. They will understand. As long as we're giving them the majority of what they need, they will be okay with us saying no to some things. The third thing that you need to know is how to direct your parenting style with structure, connection, and confidence, even without backup. So there you have it.
Hi, I'm a mom of 3 and the founder of a parenting program that helps you get from stress to calm, from frustrated to peaceful, and from disconnected to deeply connected with your kids. I've been there. I know how hard it is when our kids are struggling emotionally and we do not know how to help them. It can be tough for young children to put words to what they're feeling. So many times they don't even know how to start. Are they getting upset at transitions? Do they seem frustrated when they can't get the toy they want? Do they get overwhelmed at loud noises or in large groups? This can look like teaching them coping mechanisms, deep breathing, positive self-talk, or helping them move their body. Take a moment to identify the emotion your child is having. Then comfort and connect before correcting. Say something like, "I know you're really mad right now, but hitting is not okay." Then give them a choice. Do you want to sit and cool off on the couch or go take a break in your room? Remember, it's never too early or too late to start. Every step you take brings your child closer to becoming an emotionally intelligent, kind, and confident human being. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment below. We can't wait to hear your thoughts. See you next time. This gives them a chance to calm down without feeling ashamed or embarrassed. You could say, "I know you're angry right now, You can stomp your feet if that would help. Or, it seems like you're sad. Can you take a deep breath and let that sadness out through your mouth? When you stay calm and model healthy expression of emotions, you teach your child how to regulate their own emotions. These are all patterns that can indicate your child is having an emotional reaction, but they might not be able to express it or even understand what it is they're experiencing. And even when they do, expressing those feelings can be challenging. Teaching our kids to self-regulate means that they won't shut down or act out when they overwhelmed. When our kids are in touch with their feelings, they're better able to empathize with others. This leads to kindness and compassion. Emotionally intelligent kids know how to handle conflict because they're comfortable with their own emotions. They don't lash out or shut down. Instead, they communicate their needs and feelings in an assertive, non-aggressive way. This is key to raising emotionally intelligent kids. Tools like positive self-talk, deep breathing, and mindfulness can be taught to children of all ages. For younger kids, modeling these behaviors is enough. As they get older, you can teach them more complex strategies. For example, you could teach your child to say, "I'm feeling angry," instead of acting out. When they do use words to express their feelings, praise them. Say, "I love that you used your words to tell me how you feel." Children need to learn to express their feelings in an age-appropriate way. We can teach them how to identify and label their feelings and then give them the tools to manage those feelings so they're not overwhelmed by them. Today, we're going to talk about raising emotionally intelligent kids. Let's dive in. 1. Help your child understand, express, and manage their feelings. 2. How to detect. First, you want to be on the lookout for emotional patterns your child may not have the words for. 3. How to define and label feelings. Once you've noticed these patterns, start defining and labeling those feelings. As you notice your child going into a downward spiral, say something like, "Wow, you really seem frustrated right now. Is that because you want to play with the blue truck?" Or, "It looks like you're feeling scared about going to the doctor. I was feeling that way too when I had my tonsils out." When you name it, it becomes less overwhelming. They can see that this feeling is temporary. You're giving them permission to feel this way, but also letting them know this feeling will pass. That's why we say naming it to tame it really works. By identifying and labeling feelings, you help your child take the first step towards managing them. 4. How to direct. Next, you'll want to help your child direct their feelings in a healthy way. 5. Respond to meltdowns with emotional leadership. When your child has a meltdown, stay calm and be the calm presence they need. 6. Give kids tools to self-regulate. 7. Raise kids who are kind and confident. And there you have it. 7 steps to raising emotionally intelligent kids.
No one asked me to become a parent, but here I am. I'm raising 2 kids in the modern world, and it's not easy. We are bombarded with information. How to detect what's really influencing your child, from YouTube to friends to TikTok. How to define your core family values so they don't get lost in the noise. How to direct your child through the modern world with wisdom, resilience, and relevance. Let's go. Our kids have access to more in their lifetime than all generations before them combined. As my mom always says, treat others the way you want to be treated. Everyone in my family has a unique voice, and we want everyone to feel comfortable being themselves. When my daughter was 4 years old, she told me she wanted to be a YouTuber when she grows up. That's what I'm trying to teach my kids. That's what I'm trying to embody as a parent. Being a parent in the modern world is hard. It's scary, but we're in it together. So let us do our best and try to make the world a better place for the next generation. I said, "That's great, honey." And she replied, "You're a YouTuber, right?" I said, "I'm an actor. I do voice work. This is my office." And she said, "So you're famous?" I said, "Well, I do get recognized sometimes." And then she said, "Can I be famous too?" I told her that being famous wasn't the only way to do that. You could also be a doctor or a teacher or an artist. You can change the world. She thought for a moment and said, "I want to change the world." And I said, "Well, then you can be anything you want to be." Seems simple, right? But it covers character, values, respect, empathy. These are timeless. They transcend generations. That's the foundation of our family. That means understanding what makes them tick. What do they value? What's important to them?
And if you have multiple children, which I do, they're all very different. We want to give them all the tools they need to succeed. They need to find what they believe in, and they need to be unapologetically themselves. And that starts with us. What are you teaching by example? Are you staying true to yourself? Are you following your dreams? Are you taking care of others? Kids learn as much from what you do as what you say. I worry about the echo chambers. But as a parent, I see an opportunity. Every day he comes home from school and tells me something he learned on the news. We talk about it. I ask follow-up questions. Sometimes we watch the same video together. If there's a story he doesn't understand, we Google it. I explain current events in a way that he can understand. I tell him the who, what, where, when, and why. Then I ask him how it makes him feel. Then we talk about how to be a good digital citizen. Is it appropriate to share this on social media? What would you do in this situation? It's to help them process it. The goal is to raise critical thinkers, not parrots. My oldest is 10. He loves basketball and video games. My youngest is 6, and she loves art and singing. They both love TikTok. My son loves watching short-form content. It helps him learn new things like how to dunk a basketball or how to build a gaming computer. My daughter loves short-form content because it's creative. She loves watching other kids her age making art or singing. And every night before bed, we watch a couple of videos together and we talk about it. What did you learn today? How did that make you feel? How can you apply that in your life? So how do we help our kids thrive in this new world? In this video, we're going to tackle 4 big questions. The first step to parenting in the modern world is knowing what's influencing your child. For my kids, YouTube and TikTok aren't bad. In fact, I want them to keep exploring these platforms. Where I draw the line is when it interferes with schoolwork, chores, or family time. For example, on weekends, we have a rule that all devices get put away across the hall. We don't want to hear them in the living room. We want to be able to connect as a family. This isn't about being the strict parent. It's about teaching our kids that there's a time and a place for everything. Speaking of which, where do your kids get their news from? My 10-year-old son gets most of his news from TikTok. And finally, how do we future-proof our kids? As a family, we also talk about voice and identity. There's a lot of noise out there.
Anxiety is on the rise in our kids. We've seen it firsthand over the past few years. And while we may think that kids today are just more anxious because of social media and school pressures, anxiety can actually be genetic. Most kids experience some level of anxiety, especially when facing new situations or challenges. And how to direct your child with support strategies that build resilience instead of shame. Remember that every child is unique and will express their emotions in their own way. So keep an eye out for any of these behaviors that might indicate anxiety in your kiddo. For instance, starting in a new school or worrying about an upcoming test. These are normal, everyday stressors that most kids can handle without too much trouble. Start by asking open-ended questions like, I've noticed you seem a bit down lately. Do they open up to you or do they seem reluctant to talk about their feelings? If they do share their worries with you, listen empathetically and validate their emotions. Let them know that it is okay to feel the way they do and that you understand why they might feel that way. You can also teach your child how to challenge negative thoughts and replace them with more positive and realistic ones. Avoid dismissing their concerns or telling them to just shake it off. Here are some tips to foster a mentally healthy home. Instead, work together to find healthy ways to manage their anxiety. Is everything okay? Or you've been spending a lot of time alone. How are you feeling? Help your child set achievable goals and celebrate their accomplishments, no matter how small they may seem. This will help them develop essential life skills and build their confidence. Instead, let them know that you're here for them whenever they're ready to talk and that you'll be there to support them. Be patient with yourself and your child, and don't be afraid to seek professional help when needed. By working together, You can create a supportive and nurturing environment where your child can thrive. You can also suggest other resources like a trusted family member, school counselor, or mental health professional. Let them know that you're there to listen without judgment and that you want to help. These shared experiences will create lasting memories and strengthen your bond as a family. They can provide your child with the tools and strategies they need to manage their anxiety and live a happy and fulfilling life. But if these feelings of anxiety become more frequent and tense and start interfering with your child's daily life, then it might be a sign of something deeper going on. It can come from observing our own worries or even be triggered by a stressful event, something that happens at school, a family issue, or big changes in their lives. It's important to note that feeling anxious from time to time is normal. For school, stress, separation, anxiety, or social fear. Try teaching your child deep breathing exercises, mindfulness techniques, or even yoga. These practices can help your child relax and focus on the present moment. You can also encourage your child to engage in physical activity, as exercise releases endorphins that can improve mood and reduce stress. So let's talk about how to spot the early signs of anxiety in kids. How to define the difference between normal stress and something deeper. First, let's talk about what anxiety looks like in different age groups. Avoidance of social situations, declining grades, changes in eating or sleeping habits, fidgeting difficulty, concentrating, and more frequent and intense emotional reactions. In toddlers and preschoolers, you might notice clinginess, tantrums, bedwetting, a sudden fear of being alone, or separation anxiety, avoidance of certain foods, or dramatic weight loss, nightmares, or difficulty sleeping. In school-age children, look out for things like frequent headaches or stomach aches, complaints of being tired or sick. And for teenagers, common signs include feeling on edge, being easily startled, avoiding eye contact, having panic attacks, restlessness, irritability, social withdrawal, changes in sleep patterns, neglecting hobbies, and failing to take care of their appearance. If you notice any of these signs, it is important to have an open conversation with your child to better understand what they're going through. Next, pay close attention to your child's response. Are they willing to share what's bothering them? However, if your child still seems hesitant to open up, don't force them. When it comes to calming techniques, there are a variety of strategies that can help kids manage their anxiety. If your child's anxiety is related to social situations, consider role-playing different scenarios to help them build confidence and practice their social skills. Finally, if you suspect that your child might need additional support, don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health professional. Creating a home environment that promotes mental wellness is crucial for supporting our kids. 1. Model healthy coping mechanisms. Show your child how you manage your own stress through healthy habits like exercise, mindfulness, or talking to a friend. 2. Encourage open communication. Create a safe space where your child feels comfortable sharing their feelings without fear of judgment. 3. Set realistic expectations. 4. Promote problem solving. Instead of jumping in to solve your child's problems right away, guide them through the process, asking questions and offering suggestions. 5. Prioritize family time. Make time for fun. Engage in activities that everyone in the family can enjoy. Remember, creating a mentally healthy home is an ongoing process.
Hi everyone, I'm here and I'm here to help you create a blended family harmony. As a blended family life coach, I have found that most blended families struggle with 3 areas. First, they struggle with loyalty binds. Second, they struggle with unclear roles. And third, they struggle with a lack of unity, trust, and love that feels real. If you want your blended family to be happy and healthy, then you have to focus on these 3 areas. It is important to set clear expectations and boundaries from the beginning. Don't expect to have a close relationship with your stepchild or for everyone in the family to get along right away. It takes time and effort to build trust and strong relationships. Don't be discouraged if things don't go perfectly right away. Just keep being patient and persistent, and eventually things will improve. You can also do things to help foster unity, trust, and love in your family. For example, you could plan regular family activities or meals. You could also try to get everyone involved in planning family activities so that everyone feels like they have a say. You may also want to consider family therapy as a way to improve communication and relationships within your family. A therapist can provide a safe space for everyone to share their thoughts and feelings. They can also help you all develop skills to manage conflict and improve your relationships. This will help everyone in the family adjust to the new dynamic more smoothly. Let everyone know that you need time to get to know each other and to adjust to the new family dynamic. By following these tips, you can help ensure that your relationship with your stepchild is built on trust and mutual respect. Remember to be patient and persistent in building trust and showing love. Over time, your stepchild will likely come to see you as a positive role model and a source of support and guidance in their life. It's also important to be realistic about what you can handle. In the description below, you will find some scripts that you can use in family meetings, role discussions, and even for a fun family ritual. Don't be afraid to say no if you're feeling overwhelmed. And finally, don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's okay if things don't work out perfectly right away. Just relax and enjoy getting to know your new family members. For example, you may want to have a family meeting to discuss how everyone will handle household chores or discipline. It's also important to be compassionate when setting boundaries. Everyone in the family is going through a lot of changes, and it's important to be understanding and flexible. Keep in mind that this is a process, and it will take time for everyone to adjust. Today, we will talk about how to make your blended family work by focusing on these 3 areas. If you stay until the end, I will also give you some tips on how to avoid the pressure of becoming an instant family and how to build connection over time instead. When it comes to loyalty binds, you need to acknowledge that they exist. Don't try to pretend that they're not there or that they're not important. Loyalty binds are a normal and natural part of any blended family system. They're the emotional connections that children have with their parents and other family members. These loyalty binds can make it difficult for children to adjust to the changes that come with divorce and remarriage. For example, a child might feel torn between 2 households and 2 sets of rules. They might also feel guilty about spending time with one parent if they feel like they're neglecting the other as a step-parent. It's important to respect the loyalty binds that your stepchild has with their other parent. Don't try to force them to choose sides or to take sides. This will only make things worse. Instead, focus on building a relationship with your stepchild based on trust and mutual respect. Let them know that you understand that they have a relationship with their other parent and that you're not trying to replace that parent. When it comes to defining roles, you need to be clear and compassionate, not controlling. When it comes to unity, trust, and love, you need to be patient and persistent. It takes time to build trust and strong relationships. One way to avoid the pressure of becoming an instant family is to be upfront about your boundaries from the beginning. Being a step-parent can be challenging, but it can also be very rewarding. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And here's a bonus for you.
After 17 episodes, from tantrums to teens, from screen time battles to blended family breakthroughs, one truth rises above them all. Parenting is not a burden. It's a blessing. Yes, it's messy, loud, exhausting, There are days we question everything. There are nights we collapse, wondering if we did enough. But then, a laugh echoes through the hallway. A little hand reaches out. Having kids in the house doesn't just change the noise level. It changes the meaning of life. You get front row seats to their firsts, first words, first steps, first dreams. To the parents who stay up late. To the ones who keep trying. Now, don't get me wrong. Some days it's beautiful, blissful. Even other days, not so much. You are not alone. We are all in this together. Navigating the twists and turns of parenthood, discovering joys we never knew existed, and facing challenges that test our limits. Days when the tantrums hit, responsibilities pile up, and exhaustion seems like a permanent resident. They've been a shared experience, a community of sorts, a chorus of voices that say, I understand, I'm here, I'm learning, too. You are the architect of a tiny human's life, shaping not just their present, but their future. And that, my friends, is an extraordinary gift. Each episode has been a step, a stride on this incredible journey. Who celebrate tiny victories and learn right alongside your children? You are the backbone of our society, the heart of our future. We've talked about tantrums and techniques, yes, but also about the transformative power of connection, the strength that comes from within you, and the love that binds us all. The bond you share with your child, the love you pour in, the patience you practice, the guidance you offer, it's all making a difference. Trust yourself, trust your instincts, and above all, trust the extraordinary power of your love. It's about showing up, being present, and pouring love into the tiny human who looks up to you with innocent eyes, whose laughter is pure joy, whose curiosity knows no bounds, and whose love is unconditional. In those moments, it's easy to feel like you're drowning in a sea of diapers, dishes, and endless demands. To the moms, dads, and guardians who are raising legends. One lesson, one hug, one I'm proud of you at a time. You get to see the world again. Through wonder-filled eyes. You are not just a parent, you are a legend in the making. Keep going, keep growing, keep loving. Thank you for being part of our journey. Together, let's continue to learn, evolve, and raise amazing humans. Until next time, happy parenting. You learn patience, forgiveness, strength you didn't know you had. You discover parts of yourself that only your child could unlock. A sleepy I love you melts the noise of the day. And suddenly, we remember why we're here. Not just to manage chaos, but to raise character. You just need to show up. With love, with leadership, and with the 3D mindset, detect, define, direct, and you're doing that now, every day, every step, not just to survive, but to grow, alongside the tiny humans we love most. Being a parent is one of life's greatest fulfillments. This series was built for you. Every track in the parenting problem solved. Series was designed not just to teach techniques, but to remind you of the miracle in the mess, to show you how much power you have, not just over behavior, but in shaping a life. From emotional intelligence to bedtime peace, from solo strength to digital safety. You now have tools that aren't just practical, they're transformational. Your legacy begins at home. You don't need to be a perfect parent. This isn't just a YouTube series, it's a tribute. When you became a parent, something inside you shifted. In a quiet, profound way, your whole world changed. But amidst the chaos, there's a truth that resonates. A melody that echoes in the quiet hours. A reminder that whispers in the stillness of your heart. Here's the secret, the heartbeat of this journey. It's not about being perfect. No parent is. These past 17 episodes have been more than just advice. You are not just a parent, you are a superhero, a guide, a mentor, a teacher, a friend. This series has been a tribute to all of you, the parents who make it happen day after day, who endure sleepless nights and endless laundry. As we come to the end of this chapter, remember this, you are doing an incredible job. The journey of parenthood is a beautiful adventure. So embrace the laughter, cherish the smiles, learn from the stumbles, and grow with your child.